What's going on, everyone? This is Lo-Fi Noah, and I want to be talking about a game that I've been seeing and played the beta twice and everything, and I wanted to make a video about it again. The game is The First Descendant, the loot and shooter new game that's coming out. When I played the First Descendant beta for the first time when they released it, I saw it was a lot of good potentials with the game. I found it really enjoyable. It could even rival or even be up there with games like Borderlands, Warframe, and stuff like that. But it had a lot of problems. It had things that was an issue, etc, etc, etc. And in my old video, if you do want to go check it out, I'll throw it in the video here and also put it in the comments. But it had a lot of problems. After this beta coming out and trying it out, they have tremendously fixed a lot of things, and I found that amazing. I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I want to see. I mean, the UI changed. They added more characters. They fixed the ruin situation I was talking about. They fixed how you know what abilities work with what little section that works. If your character played leech, then this ability works for this, etc, etc, etc. It felt nice. And to be honest, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to First Descendant and everything. It felt really good playing the second beta, especially with the stuff that they have now. But with this video here, I can't just talk about all the good things with First Descendant. That's just not how I roll. So I do want to talk about the bad things, how I feel about the game, as well as what I've been reading on Reddit. So let's just get to the good things about the game. What did I find enjoyable playing this game at the end of the day? I think overall, this type of loot and shooter still felt like the enemies wanted to kill you. It felt enjoyment running around, farming for your materials, farming for your items, farming for your weapons. I mean, I sat down trying to build one of the like, I guess, high tier weapons, and it felt amazing, shredding through enemies, killing them left and right, and just working towards something as like in a gold sense. Overall, like the whole experience really was awesome. The community seemed really fun. Everyone was like dancing in the little sanctuary area when they had the little emo. It felt great, and none of the missions to me felt boring. I feel like if you like the story, you can get into the story, but that's just not me personally. I'm not a story person. I like more just how the gameplay felt, and to me the gameplay itself felt more as something that felt rewarding in my time, really sitting down, playing it, and just enjoying what the game offers. I would say in my old video about First Descendant, I had an issue where I didn't know what erectors or little components that you can add onto your character to give them like a oomph or something that's helpful in like their build or artifact, etc, etc. And they did do a change where it kind of tells you, it kind of helps you to know, okay, this skill power boost ratio does this, and then on top of that, it does tell you, okay, what this really affects. So then if you are playing like a certain character, or you're really trying to figure out which thing you should run for your particular character, it lets you know. And that's what I really wanted at the end of the day, because I was saying in my old video that it was kind of hard to really know what worked with what character. So I felt that that was a W at the end of the day. I did enjoy the prophecy. So like, or like whenever you use the weapon, you'll level up its potential of it, and I guess that gave you like little buffs. I think if you do it right, it's really fun, but too much of it can get really like tedious. But I still found that enjoyable at the end. And of course, and when we're talking about like the characters, every character still felt that uniqueness. They even added like 2 or 3, and even like the ultimate version of like the ice girl, whatever, which that was pretty cool and stuff like that. So I found it enjoyable overall. I would even say, when I talked about in my old video as well, I don't want the time gated thing, and I was really worried that they was probably going to do like a time thing where you have to kill something in this amount of time, you got to get it done, you got to hit a certain amount of damage in order to do this. And I'm glad that we have like different ways of doing it. There's no just straight up time gate stuff. There is different missions, there are different bosses, there's like the mechanics of it, and just the gameplay, the bosses, all that is well defined in a way that to me feels as though is going to be a fun and entertaining loot and shooter game at the end of the day, because I'm gonna be real, there's not a lot of loot and shooter games that can just hit that itch, to be honest, outside of like Warframe, Destiny, and then right now Borderlands 3, and well, not Borderlands 3, Wonderlands. Like, those are like the only loot and shooter games, and right now like really only 2 exist that does really good, which is like Destiny and Warframe at the moment. So I'm kind of glad that we did get something like First Descendant at the end of the day to be coming out and releasing, but I'm pretty much skeptical about this, which leads me to talk more about the negative sides that I felt when I started to read more about it, and just some of the stuff that I found online about it, which I want to talk about this first to give context to what my opinion is going to be about this. So after doing a little bit of research and stuff like that, I found that Nexon, the company, had a lawsuit where they got fined for changing the rates in one of their games, MapleStory, where it made it tremendously hard for people to farm for things or get things, and you're locked behind really spending real money to progress and get stronger in the game. And me personally, whether I am a free-to-play person or a pay-to-win person, it's just not fun. Like, what the actual fuck? Like, that doesn't make sense to like loot and shooter games at all. The whole point of the game is you to progress by farming for items that you need for your particular character, to then turn around, make them stronger, to then turn around and be able to do stuff. Not, hey, I'm gonna spend $20 on something to get something and then put it on. Okay, cool, it went up. Now I gotta spend another $20 in order to do that same process again. Like, what? Now, with me rambling and getting like a little bit frustrated with that, luckily this is not the First Descendant. This is MapleStory, which is a MMO and all that, and I didn't really see that when I played the First Descendant, and I'm glad that they don't have that same repeat as they did with MapleStory, because that would have probably killed, no, not probably, it would have definitely killed the whole me playing the game entirely, and I wouldn't blame anybody else who just didn't want to play the game. From what I see so far, to shed some positiveness about this, since the game is going to be free, the only thing I really saw was the battle pass. And to me, I already had like a video on battle passes and stuff like that. Like, you can go check it out. I throw it in the video here and I leave it down in the comments. But like, that's not really gonna like make me feel less inclined to play the game, as long as they just don't make it to where I have to spend money for like my characters, or I have to, in order to just progress in their game entirely. Now, the next thing I want to bring up is the RNG colors that they do have in the beta when I played. And to me personally, I'm gonna be real, I don't care about it. I already kind of alluded to this. If we're just talking about cosmetics in a video game where you have to roll for RNG, or you have to buy them in order to just rock them, I'm not gonna throw a fit. It's cosmetics. It's not gonna change anything. It's not gonna help me with my progression, so I can fuck off. I don't care. Like, that's just how I look at cosmetics. But when I did see this, and also saw a little bit of online what people were saying, a lot of people were throwing a fit about it, in which they have the right to feel that way. But for me, I wouldn't have cared. So how does this work? Why is so many people enraged about this? Why did they get a backlash about this? Well, this color scheme thing or color palette that you could use was locked behind an RNG where you have to get these materials. You have to get like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they'll roll. Then once it rolls, you get a chance of whatever color that is in there. There's a buttloads of different colors, and the chances to get these colors was like 1.8 something. I'm just gonna really say 1.0 to keep it short. And so now, this wasn't really the issue. The issue really came through is once you got the color and then you put it on a character, it's then lost. It's then gone forever. So then you can't really use that color anymore. You have to re-roll again. So it kind of got annoying for a lot of people, because you have to work for those materials, then turn around, roll, get cucked over, get a color you don't want for your character, or whatever color scheme that you want to come up with, and then you're stuck with that unwanted thing. Or if when you do finally get the color you need, put on a character, lost it forever, so now you have to regrind again to get this RNG. So I see why a lot of people threw a fit, but how I looked at it as is just cosmetics. I'm just gonna go about my day, play my characters as a default. The default skins already look pretty amazing for the most part, so kick rocks. But I see why a lot of people did get mad, and it's understandable in all honesty. It's just not for me though. Like, I was reading this one thing on Reddit, and I'm gonna throw it up on the screen here, but this person was talking about, I'm gonna keep it real, the WoW Gacha system that is coloring customization made me feel immediately bad enough to stop playing. And so they pretty much talk about how, you know, it's stupid, the monetization between the colors, just makes me don't want to play it. Which, you know, if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. I personally just wouldn't get offended by that. It's just colors at the end of the day, okay? But he did talk about something else as well. But when you play loot and shooters, and you play like Destiny, Warframe, Borderlands, Outlaw, Outriders, like those loot and shooters, you'll get into the same like situation, which is storage. So whenever you're getting like loot or items or gear, you know for a fact your old gear is going to eventually get rid of, and then you put on new gear to work with it, use it, etc, etc, etc. And he talked about how the storage, the slots for it is not a whole lot, which, yeah, that can be annoying, but overall, like, it all comes down to what you prioritize and what you need. So at the end of the day, as long as you're able to get rid of it or even slot it into like a storage somewhere, overall, it's not gonna be that bad. And two, since the game kind of made it to where it's coordinated with like your skills, so you know what you're looking for, I don't think that's gonna be a big issue. That what this Reddit guy was saying on the First Descendant Reddit. So I don't really see that as a negative per se. It's more like this is like a day-by-day thing that you deal with on every loot and shooter game. You're gonna run out of slots when you're farming. Just get rid of the stuff you don't need, keep what you do like, and if you just need somewhere to store it, they're gonna probably make something or put in a system where you can store it and keep it. So it's not that deep. That being said, after the beta was coming to a end, they did give us like a chance to share our feedback. And I think every game should do this. I think every game should have this in their game in a way, especially if it's new, or even if they're doing like different chapters with this, is where you get to share your feedbacks about the problems, share your feedbacks with the with how you feel about it, what can be changed, what can be added, like the little, you know, sit down, you write about it, you know, you type up whatever you need to type, and then like you check mark. I like that because it lets us know to a certain degree that at the end of the day, the company does kind of care what we have to say. I mean, and that's what really should matter. You know, if you really feel this passionate, like how I am when I talked about the MapleStory situation, or your feelings about the cosmetics in the game, etc., like, you should have a right to voice it, whether it's concerning for other people and concerning and not concerning for others. I was glad that I got to at least share my opinion at the end of the day by writing the little slipped about like how I felt about the game. I forgot to record that part, and I don't know why I didn't record that part, but the only thing that I really wrote in that is that they should increase the storage with your characters, or make it to where if you are going to work on a character, at least, you know, you have like a separate storage with that character. So if you play like Gray, for instance, then everything that you get on Gray is only going to be about Gray from there. And then any character that you get that is not her, or, you know, you're starting from level 1, then you can turn around and you'll have like a whole different section of slots in a way that can like kind of manage your storage a little bit and stuff. And then also the proficiency, like I was saying in the beginning, I don't think it's terrible ideal, but I don't think it's that needed really at the end of the day. So that's all I wrote. Maybe someone else who has spent a lot more time on the beta, because I didn't get to spend too much on it. I got to really spend like a day, and I only really got to play like 2 characters, which was like Gray and like this water chick. So that was really it. But other than that, I'm just glad that I got to share like how I felt. And I think, you know, players should do that. You should definitely sit down, write about your feedback, really do it, and share it, because it matters. It what makes the game better. But that's all I really wanted to say before I end it off here. And I think that pretty much wraps up like my negativity, surprisingly, about the First Descendant. Like, I'm really shocked, and not gonna lie, like, even sitting down making this video about it, I don't really have a whole lot of negatives. And the only big negative I really pointed out was the whole Maple story, but that doesn't have nothing to do with the First Descendant gameplay or like how the game is structured by playing the beta. It felt totally different from that in my eyes. I do understand that, yes, with them having that situation with Maple Story, and you're seeing that from their company, but this is a whole new game, and there's nothing wrong with looking into that, trying to see if their next game is going to be the same way. But from what I've seen and what I played so far, it doesn't feel like that, and the game feels more as a genuine, a good, fun loot and shooter game. And again, the only big spending aspect I really saw was the battle pass, and that's not even that bad in all honesty. So I'm looking forward to it. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. I think the First Descendant will be a fun game, and for the most part, from playing the beta, it was fantastic. It's up there for me personally as a loot and shooter fan. I would say that if anyone is trying to get into the game, or, you know, wondering should they play it, definitely give it a try. You know, don't feel too skeptical. I mean, the game is going to be free, so I mean, what's wrong with trying it out? It's going to be free. Not just that, that's going to be another one of my games in rotation. And Jesus Lord, guys, okay, with me making this video, I got Stellar Blade, I got Borderlands to do, and I got Warframe to do, and I'm looking forward to doing all of them. They're gonna be out, okay? I'm saying this right now, guys. Look. Okay, if you haven't watched none of my other videos, or haven't seen any of these videos that I've been posting so far, please remember this, okay? I'm going to be putting out a Warframe, like long form content Warframe video of me going through Fortuna. That will be dropped on a Friday, okay? It has a lot of work. I have to do a lot of editing for it, but once I drop it, it will be on a Friday, guys. Another thing, okay, on Saturdays, I will always be dropping my Stellar Blade playthrough, okay? Check it out. I already put the first one, okay? Give some bro some love. Give me a shout out, you know, etc. Look forward to that. But any further ado, I got to get out of here, okay? Catch you guys later. You know, give me a like, subscribe, you know, do the little thing that everyone does. And yeah, catch you later, guys.